Kill the Alligator and Run is absolutely an episode of The Simpsons where I can't work out how I feel. On the one hand, I like it because it's a different environment. Whenever the Simpsons family go to a different location, it just gives us new scenery, new backdrops, new characters to interact with, and that's always quite exciting. But I don't know if I really care for the narrative itself, and I don't know if I love the development of it. So I'm kind of on the fence. I think ultimately I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It's the 19th episode of the 11th season, directed by Jen Kamerman, and Homer takes a personality test in a magazine and concludes that he's only got a couple of years left to live. So after a bit of a breakdown, the Simpsons family end up going to Florida for potentially a last vacation. And while there, it's a spring break party, everything is seemingly going very well. And then Homer potentially accidentally kills a famous alligator, and the family have to go on the run. It seems a little bit ludicrous, but the whole going on the run thing meant that they were certainly in some very interesting situations. They end up getting employment at a diner and living nearby, and those scenes I kind of liked. There was something about that just felt quite simplistic and almost wholesome, and I think it worked quite well, and I liked those scenes. But kind of the scenes after that I didn't really love. I don't know why, I just didn't care too much for the development of the narrative after that point. It was unpredictable, certainly unpredictable. For me at least, there were things that I hadn't expected, so that was, relatively decent, but it didn't excite me too much. And it's an episode I'd watch again. I'd watch it in sequence, but I would never seek it out to watch it. There wasn't anything about it that was particularly funny for me. As I said, I really liked the diner scenes and everything around that time, but beyond that, I just didn't care too much for the narrative. I don't want to say it was too ludicrous for me, because sometimes I like the narratives that are a bit more bizarre and a bit more, shall we say, unrealistic. But at the same time, I don't know. Some bits just didn't sit with me. There are a couple of guest voices which mean not very much to me, including Kid Rock and Josie. I know who Kid Rock is, basically because of Kirstie Alley's Fat Actress show. Josie, I didn't know. I have to say the likeness of the character is not very good. That's when I googled things afterwards. The likeness just wasn't brilliant. The likeness with Kid Rock, okay, not too bad. It's not a brilliant episode. With regards to the IMDb rating, it's got 6.6 out of 10, which for a Simpsons episode is appalling. That's a really low rating, so it's definitely not one that's completely well received. I think I agree with the rating. It's a fine episode. There are bits that are okay, but it's definitely not amazing.